Hey everyone, Connie here, and welcome to my blind reaction to the next episode, episode 18 of The Ancient Magus's Bride. It has been a while. I think it's been like 3 weeks since we've gotten into this series. And it wasn't intentional by any means. I would have gotten to it probably the week, like, leading up to Thanksgiving and everything. But as you guys know, I did have that foot injury. I did sprain my foot really bad and could barely walk, and I took off a good portion of that time for the most part. So, yeah. But my foot's better, and now that we're back, we're getting back into the swing of things, and we're trying to play catch up with a lot of stuff. One of which is, well, obviously this. So, um, trying to remember exactly what happened last time. Oh yeah, it was the two kids. There was this girl who had gotten into a fight with her brother. Her brother ran off and went missing, and she started freaking out and trying to get her parents to, help her find him. But her parents started forgetting, his existence, basically. His existence had started to leave the world. And so she ended up getting Cheese to help with also some assistance from Elias and Ruth. And they found that there was this trickster dude who was doing it all, and he ended up taking Elias as well. And yeah, all this mumbo jumbo happened to where everything kind of came together in the end, and they forgave each other and all of that. It was an interesting concept. I've seen as I mentioned last time, I've seen the concept of the being wiped from existence thing in a lot of different media. But it was done well there, and I really appreciate that they went there. It makes sense for the world that this series takes place in. Now, last time I also believe I mentioned on how I was confused about something from the episode before that. Because the episode before that, Cheese had gone Christmas shopping with what's-her-face. I cannot remember her name. But they went Christmas shopping, and I was bringing up the idea of how her friend, I cannot remember the friend's name at the moment, but how she was asking Cheese about did you get the message or something like that, and how she seemed concerned about it. And you guys had brought up at that point that it was actually more in reference to this bird that Elias had buried, and that was actually important and stuff. So there was that as well, and because I was wondering, because it's did you get the message? It's wait, and I was thinking it was the bird, pecking at the window and stuff, and it's but no, that's how she got the message from her to go out, how Cheese got the message from her to go out in the first place, and it's I had just been confused about everything, and I think I've gotten it now. But yeah, we're kind of reaching into the last portion of this series and all, because it's I think, what, 24 episodes, something like that. So it's we're kind of getting into the end game, and I'm just wondering exactly what this end game is going to be and exactly where it's going to go. Because to my knowledge, there's no plans to have a second season of this. I think it's supposed to be just this one story. And as we know, with Cheese being a slave eggie, her life is kind of limited. So I assume that's going to come into play. Whether Elias is able to save her or not. I assume that's going to be a major deal. I assume they're probably going to get married. And I say this because I have seen an image floating around lately. Yes, I've actually seen an image of this show floating around lately. I don't know why, but I've seen it on social media, and it was a picture of these two, and it looked like Cheese was wearing a wedding dress, and it looked like it was a screenshot. It didn't look like fan art. Now, I don't know for sure the validity of that or anything, but if that, I mean, I could believe it, and that's not like a massive spoiler at this point for this series. It's something I honestly expected. So, but the question is, when is it going to happen? How is it going to happen? And like, is that going to tie into Chise's life expectancy? Also, another character we haven't seen for a while that I want to see return at some point soon is oh my God, what's her name now? Angelica, there it is. Angelica, I want to see her return too, because I really liked her, and I wish she was in more of the series, to be honest. Um, but it seems like she's very minor in the cast, all things considered, which really sucks because her and some of the other characters we've met along this in the series have been fantastic, and it would have been great to see them in a more recurring role. Um, Todd Haberkorn's character, the dragon dude, um, the keeper of the dragons or whatever he was, like he would be another great one to have been recurring. And then there's the priest guy. I'm not great with names, especially since it's been so long since I've seen most of this series. Um, but yeah, either way, I hope we see those kind of characters return. I have no clue what's going to happen in this episode. I know nothing about it at all. But hopefully we start getting into something soon. Because I feel like these more episodic episodes are good, for sure. But it's like I want to see something start happening. I want to see like a storyline come into play. Because this show I feel like would benefit from that more than having just these episodic little things going on. Because I believe at the beginning of the series, it was actually just like, oh, we're going to have multiple storylines going on, and each one's going to take place over like a few episodes. Like, oh, we have this storyline for a few episodes, and we have this storyline for a few episodes, and they were like their own little mini arcs. But then they kind of abandoned that and started going to some episodic stuff, and it just didn't feel as good. It didn't feel like it worked as well. I don't know, maybe that's just me. But either way, I'm excited to get to this. I'm recording this later than I hoped because I took some time after the live stream earlier today. Um, Luckily, if I have both lamps on, it lights it up well enough because it's starting to get dark out there. So it's lit up well enough from like both sides, so it's not like just a bright light flashing on one side of me. So hopefully that helps out. But yeah, we should just get on with this because I do want to get through this and maybe record something else as well. I'm not 100% on that, but maybe. Um, but either way, let's just get this going and hope for the best with this episode. So when the screen fades to black, pause this redirect and go to the description below. Follow the link to the reaction, and after you watch it, come back here to the redirect and resume play. Because after it fades to black and then it fades back in, everything from that point forward will be my afterthoughts and will contain spoilers to the episode. So that being said, thank you so much for tuning in, and I will see you at the reaction. Okay, and we are back, and we will begin with spoilers in 3, 2, 1, now. So I was just talking about how I wanted to see more of characters like Angelica, the priest, and the dragon uh, guy. I cannot remember his name. I was just talking about, and we get two of them in this episode. Um, so anyways, Chise and her new friend start to hang out and everything, but it makes Elias jealous. And so he runs off, and Chise notices and chases him while Ruth takes the girl home. Excuse me. Um, she ends up confronting him, but out of his jealousy, he kind of loses control and starts to bind her in his shadow, basically. She manages to get her phoenix out there, which tells Ruth where she is. He saves her, and she ends up being able to stop Elias by threatening her life. Kind of a dark way of doing things, but it works. And yeah, it's just Elias was just jealous. He saw Chise starting to hang out with all of these new friends and felt like she was drifting away from him. And he loves her. He wants to be there with her. So seeing her spend time with others made him jealous and made him feel bad. But they head home and she agrees to sleep in the same bed with him. But he doesn't end up waking up for days. So she goes to Angelica, meets Angelica's husband, David, and Angelica helps her to get the potion she needs, after which she takes a nap. Hopefully not for a few days. But the ending is definitely the interesting part, where we see our little dragon friends start to get poached. So Todd Habercorn, Dragon Tamer, goes in to protect and save them. But then we see the other guy who we had seen briefly before this in the episode. The white-haired dude, I can't remember his name, but he's a bad guy, and definitely it seems they're adding up to him being the main villain of the series. We saw him earlier when the girl and her family were in London, and like she felt a prick on the back of her neck, and we saw him walking away. So it's like he did something to her. And then at the end, of course, he stops Todd Habercorn, Dragon Tamer, from rescuing the little dragons who were being poached. So it's just like all this kind of horrible shit is being started here. It is getting into the end game. Like I was saying in the pre-thoughts, we are entering the end game. We are starting to put things together. I mean, this episode also touched on Chise's, well, being the sleigh beggy and her limited life and everything. As well as just the continuing thing about her teaching Elias about human emotion and stuff. So yeah, it touched on a lot of topics we've been going through with this series, and did a lot of great stuff. Plus, it was still its own little like story generally, but it added in all this stuff that was connecting from the past and into the future. So I really, really liked that. But yeah, it's like this is definitely leading up to something with this guy. Definitely going to be the main villain, I feel. And it's going to be interesting to see how they stop him. But I wonder exactly how far they're going to take that, or if that's going to be in the ending, or the ending of the series is going to focus more on the entire thing about trying to save Chise, about Elias trying to protect her from dying and all. I don't know. We'll have to see. But overall, this episode was pretty darn good. I really, really enjoyed it. I loved the depth they went into with everything, the emotional stuff. The big scene with Elias and everything, entrapping Chise was really well done. It was great to see Angelica again, even though she didn't technically do too much. She helped, of course. And it even displayed the comedy that this show interjects from time to time, with Chise slamming the medicine down Elias's throat, which was fucking hilarious. Especially his reaction to it. Like he gets up and then he's just like, he looks like, what's going on? Huh? What? He's just so confused. He's just so out of it, and I love it. But yeah, I'm excited to get to more of this. It's going to be really good, and I really hope this ends on the best note possible. And we'll just have to see. This series, I wouldn't say like it's gonna be even if it finishes extremely strong. I don't think it's gonna be like top three material for me. But I think it could possibly be in my top 10 favorite anime of all time. I don't know. It's like we'll have to see just kind of how it goes because right now, as of where it's at, I might put it in somewhere in the top 20, but I don't know for sure if I put it top 10. I'm just not sure. I'm not confident in that. But if it ends on a really, really good note, I think it very much could be in the top 10. We'll just have to wait and see. Either way, I love the series. I mean, I love it either way. It's just exactly where it ranks is not really clear to me yet. Um, but yeah, it doesn't like stand up to like what my top three are, which, as you know, are Full Metal Alchemist Brotherhood, My Hero Academia, and Carol and Tuesday. It doesn't stack up to those shows by any means. But I very much enjoyed. I'm so glad that once again, as I say pretty much every week or every week, every time I react to one of these now, I'm so glad that I got back into this. I'm so glad that I'm actually glad I didn't see this on my own. I didn't continue watching it on my own after I dropped it the first time, and I'm glad that I'm able to get back into actually reacting to it. Either way, thank you so much for tuning in, and tell me down in the comments below what you thought of this episode of The Ancient Magus' Bride. And for now, I'm Connie, and I'm signing off. See y'all next time.
Hey everyone, Connie here, and thank you so much for tuning into today's video. If you want to check out any of my social media links and more, please check them out over to the side. And if you have any comments, questions, concerns, please leave those down below. In the meantime, though, thank you so much once again for tuning in. For now, I'm Connie, and I'm signing off. See y'all next time.